Welcome to Wealth Strategies TV, where we love people, we love tackling the complexities of wealth, and we love empowering people with the best resources and strategies to help them overcome their financial insecurities and anxieties and live the lives they've always wanted. Today, I'm joined by Charlie Janes, a business coach who's been in the business for over 25 years, working with business owners, board of directors, and executives to really help them improve their leadership, improve their earnings, and their career plans. He has worked with some of the most influential technology companies and Fortune 500 companies around the world, and recently moved from Silicon Valley to West Palm Beach to work with executives on this coast. So help me welcome Charlie Janes. Charlie, you mentioned to me in our conversation that you work with current and next generation to prepare for the transition of businesses. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, there's a whole range of things, but as I mentioned before, everything comes down to a plan and a purpose. So typically the founder of a business has created the business to serve a purpose for that founder, the family, the community, the employees. And they want to see that legacy persevere.
Right.
So a lot of what I do is helping the stakeholders, everybody involved, redocument all of those things and then create a plan to systematically get the younger members of the family to be taking on more and more responsibility while the founding member is still there to supervise them and mentor them. The biggest challenge is that most families don't really plan. Most companies and families don't plan for succession at all. So it's ideal to have at least a 3-year window where you're thinking through it and you're handing the task out, you're giving feedback, you're iterating a couple times so that you're really preparing that person to fulfill the task in the way that the founder intended. But one other consideration here is that this younger generation knows how to do things that the older generations never thought of.
Right.
They grew up gaming. They have a completely different mindset in terms of time frame. And the business's customers will be of that generation.
Right.
So we should never overlook the fact that that younger generation has a lot to offer in terms of the way the business needs to evolve.
Right. That's fascinating. What have you found is the greatest challenge in engaging the next generation in that transfer of legacy from one generation to the next?
Well, the expectations for what a career and even the life of a business is really different with this newest generation from almost everything I read in the Harvard Business Review and the reports by the big accounting firms. A lot of young people are really questioning whether they want to commit the amount of resource in terms of mental energy, missed life experiences in terms of building a career or building a business. So certainly finding and cultivating the members of the generation that really do want to make the investment in the business is a big element of that.
Right. And as a coach, how can you tell when your job has been done successfully in this generational planning?
Well, everything we do is measured. At the end of every week, every session, as we go through monthly results, we're continuously measuring the OKRs for the business. So certainly what we want to do is we want to put the new member of family tied to an initiative and see how they're doing with that initiative being completed to a satisfactory level. The other thing is we want to look at seeing how happy they genuinely are.
Right. Right. Do you find that the next generation is excited to be engaged in such a manner, to take on the legacy that their prior generation has sort of created for them?
It really is all over the board. I've worked with some businesses where the children had no interest. As a matter of fact, they had a sense of dread. It would almost be being locked in a prison. In that case, I work with those businesses to bring in outside leaders to make sure that the business continues. But in other cases, the people are quite successful, but they're not as diligent as the original founder. At least, a person who founds a business by definition is driven and smart. takes a lot of chances, and a lot of times the next generation children just aren't that way.
Yeah.
So it takes them some time to get acclimated, and that we work hard at, as a team to try to acclimate that person to evolve into that mindset.
Yeah. A great challenge indeed, but a very satisfying result if you're able to help them do that successfully, I bet.
Certainly, if the business lives on and thrives, that's a key thing that we all want.
Right. Charlie, thank you so much for answering my questions. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.